All right, good evening. Where we had left off last time was we were trying to proceed past Mount Moon and get into Cerulean City. Had a couple different issues along the way. Had tried increasing the number of epochs that it trains every time it does it. That was basically causing it to error out at the very end when it does its final compilation before running it over again. So it would run for 2 to 3 hours to um, go through its run, make the 400,000 plus steps, and then error out. Once I had managed to fix that issue, we had finally gotten a run that had iterated a couple times, got to 25 million steps, and it basically got stuck at Mount Moon and decided that there's got to be something here in the menus. And so it spent its entire last cycle here just leveling up, getting to Mount Moon, and then fidgeting with the menu, not really learning a whole lot. One of the things that did work out fairly, unfortunately, what would happen is it wouldn't have enough money to buy more Pokeballs. I've never really figured that out. So it would black out or white out a couple times. Uh, Even going into Vermilion, it wouldn't purchase any more Pokeballs, and then there were times when it was iterating through. I saw it basically had like 100 uh, I guess we'll call them $100 left, not even enough to purchase a Pokeball because that's 200. So it couldn't increase the amount it had. So it started with, I believe, 3 Pokeballs in this version, and then it would basically capture a few Pokemon. I guess the size was maybe 5. Um, Try and capture a few, and then the biggest success rate I saw was that when it had actually gotten out of Mount Moon, it's usually because there was a Pidgey or Pidgeotto as the leader. Usually, as it progressed through, Pidgey would evolve into Pidgeotto. I was trying to see if there's one of them that shows this. This one didn't even get that far into Mount Moon because they're only level 20. But what would end up happening is you would get like a level 30 Pidgeotto as the lead Pokemon when it would come out in those, but then eventually it would run out of moves and white out and go back to the Mount Moon Pokemon Center before it had made it into Cerulean. So then the game thought, well, I'm not increasing my exploration score. I don't have any way to get more new Pokemon. I guess I will go look through the menus, even going back as far as the starter town. You can see here in this screenshot that it's all the way back in Pallet Town, trying to figure out what to do with it, and it's going to toss an antidote here and then realize what it's doing um, in lowering its item reward. So basically, we had like capped out progress at the moment here, and then that was the one longer session that I had gotten to run. That one had ran for almost about 20 hours. There was another session here where basically it decided to start back at the beginning and never really got far. It did complete one iteration, and then by the time it got to the second iteration, this one had crashed out as well. So it had learned a little bit of leveling, a little bit of moving through, and then this is the final states that it was in before it had crashed. So still very much stuck in Pallet Town. And then what we're seeing here is basically it had gone back to the beginning. It's starting to spread out around Professor Oak's lab and move around, but it hasn't particularly figured out how to move very far. So not having a lot of success in terms of getting out of Pallet and getting really here to where it can start increasing it. And we can see this here. It did trigger a few rewards on, or event rewards on these. But for the most part, it's not even making it out to increase any levels or heals. We're basically back to the beginning as far as progress goes. So there we go. It kind of evened everything out here. You can see very minor explore rewards, but that's really the only reward that it's getting at the moment. So it's starting to figure out like I need to move around to new places to increase my explore reward, and that's pretty common when you have basically reset your progress here. So You're talking it's only a few million steps in here. This was another one that I ran earlier. Basically, nothing had come of it. Then this is the one that's running now. I started it about 2 to 3 hours ago now. And you can see kind of the steps to get out. I do have 18 instances running right now. So with it already have been being kicked off, it seems like we are pretty stable, but I wouldn't really be able to make a ton of changes to it. So what I'm hoping here, last time we've gotten to about the 12 million step mark before it had figured out getting all the way through here and into, I think it was defeating Brock by around 20 million step mark. So about 10 million, 13 million steps to get into Vermilion Forest, and then another 6 or 7 million to get to the gym and then start to progress. And then about the 33 million mark was when it had actually that one time made it to Cerulean City. Of the 24 agents that I had going during that time, it was 4 of them had made it to the gym successfully. And that had been the checkpoint that I was using. But that was before I had made the adjustments that we had done last time. So I'll bring this over here. We had made a few changes to the way we did the scoring. We increased the first apron for the party level rewards before tapering it off a little bit. And then once you got around level 50 in the party, even more so. I did that based on here. Just kind of looking across the party levels here. Realistically, you're talking about, across all these, like this is one of the higher ones, you're talking about 45 levels. Same thing here. And that's not even accounting for, we reduce it by 4 for the starter Pokemon. So it's not leveling the Pokemon too highly before doing it. Here's one that, it's only level 20. And they're trying to get through Mount Moon. It's not going to work to make it all the way through that. You're simply just going to run out of having enough moves, and then you start to use Struggle, which 1 hits very weakly, and then 2 leaves you open to taking more and more damage. So not a great idea there. Typically, if you were playing the game as an individual, you're probably looking at, you have, I would say, in the neighborhood of like 4 to 5 pretty well leveled Pokemon, and this is really just not doing that. So then just doesn't have enough power to make it through, which is why I thought to increase the level rewards before moving on. So, we're removing just 6 for the starter Pokemon from that amount. So it's going to get up to level 36 in terms of overall level of Pokemon. And then there is no count for the duplicates as well. So you see this one has multiple Pidgeys. Let's see if I can pull this up. So for example, this one here, there's 3 Pidgeys that are all level 3. This will only count as 3 towards the reward function that I have built. And so you get 20 for the main Pokemon. You get 3 for the Pidgey, which is 23. You take the 6 away, it's still 17. So it's still in that first apron of the level 1. Even this one here, you're talking, I think it was 14 and 23 from what I see. Yeah, 14 and 23 from these. So what it will do then is, what's this, 37? So it's barely made it to the second apron of the level rewards. So it has learned, though, to start moving other Pokemon ahead and level them, which is good because then, you can make more progress in those early levels by having a few stronger Pokemon. When I think about how a normal player would play the game, they would have, even if they rushed the gym, which is what this tends to do because of having the Squirtle, you can beat Brock just with those trainer battles along the way. It usually faints about 3 or 4 times along the way. A lot of that is because it will faint 1 or 2 times, even just getting from Pallet to Viridian City. It will then faint another 1 or 2 times during Vermilion Forest. And then because it's such a big setback with the map design of Mount Moon, when it faints, that it stops it stops gaining progress, right? So even if it attempts to get back to where it was before, once you're in this last map screen before you start going back through where you are before, there's quite a bit of a journey here. And so I know there's a few Team Rocket trainers along the way as well that if you're going through here on your first, second, maybe third time, you've pretty much capped out your explore rewards. There's only a very narrow way to get to this, and then you have to work your way back through before making it out. And then, if I remember correctly, there's another trainer battle or two here along the way, which is what ends up causing it trouble. Because even if it could make it through all of those, you just simply run out of valid attack moves. So it has things like tackle, bubble. Even as it levels up, what's the next one that Squirtle will get? Like bubble beam. Pidgey would only have gust and sand attack, or not sand, sorry, gust, sand attack, and maybe quick attack. The Pidgeotos will have that. I'm trying to remember what other good moves that it learns that are actually dealing damage, right? So Pidgeotto is good against the Zubats that are in here, but does very, very little against things like the Geodudes that appear. So even with that, it's very, very slow progress through here. So um, it doesn't think like it does logically, right? So if you were encountering this, it also has not learned to run away from the battles that it's not doing well against. So it tries to basically fight them out, and then you end up with very little moves left to continue your actual progress. It will fight a Geodude with a Pidgey and just keep using Gust over and over. So it'll take 6 or 8 uses of that. You have 35 total. All of a sudden, you can only fight like what 5, 6 Geodudes before you make it out, and then plus all the Zubats along the way. What else here to cover? So we had that. This is how we store the levels along the way. We're just using um, a dictionary for this, and then we're taking the max of levels along the way. So that's how, like when you saw those 3 Pidgeys, they would only contribute 3 levels instead of 9 to your level reward score. Another thing here is I had decreased the badge reward. Where's that overall? I take it down to 5 points from 10 or 15 or 20 from before. It may be worthwhile to take this back up again, do it, but I wanted to give this a fair shot and basically start it from scratch and see if it would learn it any better. We're still seeing double points for Pokemon seen, triple points for Pokemon caught, and it looks like we are starting to get a little bit out of the starter area. So let's go check that real quick and see what we've got here. All right, so they've found the grass here. This is the first iteration cycle. There's 12 agents, so we're about 1.5 million steps in. But good to see that they are actually starting to make it out of pallet in a relatively decent time frame. Looks like a couple have made it to or I guess I should say a couple. Looks like 1 or 2 have made it to level 7 here. A couple of them are still stuck in town, but we are starting to at least go out a little bit, and hopefully we'll see some progress there. So I did want to leave this run. In the meantime, I had also begun to set up the buffer lib version of this. The idea here is that this is actually a little bit more efficient. The idea here is that it's specifically designed for Pokémon Red, so cuts out quite a bit in terms of the overhead of just the pure Pyboy emulation and then loading it there. I am encountering issues though because I am on Windows, so I had to set up Windows subsystem for Linux, get that up and running, then had to downgrade Python. So I'm trying to put together a document on that, on just how to get set up, so that way when other people see this, they can do the same thing. as well. We do seem to have a few other people who are interested in this. There's another guy here. You see Mike. He invited me on to his Twitch stream earlier this week. He's starting from scratch here. We gave them, we talked with him in his chat. There are developers, software engineers, and how to make progress. And you can see he's just at the beginning thing, but it looks like he's got a fair amount of instances going. So hopefully they can progress pretty quickly in terms of overall learning there, because they are right now hugging the corners, which is where we were when we first started. There's probably some tweaks to the exploration reward that would need to be done to curtail that. Like we're having that as well. Looks like we are off the map, but we're training again. Let's see. What I realized too is that because I'm streaming and I'm running multiple environments, I only have 4 cores on this laptop. So running 18 environments gets to be quite taxing on it. That way it won't always show my agents there right away. You'll see them pop up. They will move extremely quickly for a short while, and then they will disappear again. So basically it's building up a buffer for displaying those, and then it quickly goes through each of its movements there. You can see it right now. We just pop back in. And then I'm only doing 1,000-step groups. So it waits for the first 300 interactions, goes through, it does their moves very quickly, and then once it catches up to that, it disappears again until that buffer can build up. And part of that is just the limited resources that I have here on this laptop, where I do have 8 gigs of RAM on a GPU, but because I'm running so many instances, they're splitting it almost in half between them. And so that's why we are sometimes struggling to get it. And just double check here, I have 18 groups. Not even splitting nicely across the 4 cores. So there are things to go through and update. Oh yeah, this is the interval. So it'll wait 300 seconds, about 5 minutes before showing me, and then it'll show all of them going through. And I'm not 300 seconds, 300 steps before it'll show them. So you're seeing a bit of a delay between each of those. Like I said, it's training every. Really, we can double check that here. So every 1,000 steps. So take this times 200 divided by 4, so cut it in half, and that's what you get. So about every 1,024 steps, it will go through and do another quick training round. Part of the reason for doing that, especially here at the beginning, is to get that initial learning more quickly. You can see a few of them have actually now fainted going out the first time. That seems like they're going to start moving their way out of town, and hopefully, yeah, we're starting to see. Before we only one of these had event score. We're starting to see that now. We're starting to see event score trickle up across these. A bit of healing, so it's learned how to heal its Pokemon. With the potions that it gets, I believe it should have 2. One for you get one to start with for that first battle. I don't know if it was used in this save state. And then you get another one as you're walking to Pallet. They give you a second one that it could use that as well. Explore score is now starting to work up. Before it was only in like the 2 range. Now I see a couple 5s in there. So we're starting to see progress in terms of overall. And then scene, I guess I can pull this over and we can see if it had tried to capture anyone. Oh yeah, a couple. I see 2. I see a 6 in there, which means capture 2 Pokemon, and I see a 3. So that is good, because that means we are starting to see progress in terms of it capturing Pokemon. Like I said, just while doing the live stream, it's a little unreliable for displaying here what it sees. But it's good that it had learned quickly to do this. The idea here is that it can learn well. It probably does not also realize that going back to the starter house, you can heal your Pokemon. I know that's what I had done at the beginning of the game when I had done it. It's not too much here in the grass, but if you're trying to capture Pokemon, it can get a little bit challenging to get through that. let's see, what else do we have to discuss here? I do want to leave this running. Yeah, what I can do then is I'll leave this running in the background, and I will continue to try and get the we'll try and get the looks like I'm trying to get WanDB set up, but I need to figure out what it is. This is you can use weights and biases to track your thing. This is I'm trying to get the puffer lib version set up here. So I was working through that. This is the original one that we had set up, and then the puffer lib version. I was trying to come here and figure out what weights and biases it was connecting to. Doesn't seem to have anything. It didn't have anything. This is where you specify the user for it. So that's my one weights and biases user. I wonder, this is entity. So it's going to run demo.py, which is this. It's going to use the environment, which is up here. Project entity group. Could it be here? No, these are only the calls to it. Okay, so it's not that. The project. That's probably what it is. Okay. So because that project exists, I should create a new project. Give the project a name. We're going to call this the buffer lib just to match what's here. Pokémon Red reinforcement. I'll create that. Error creating project. Is there an issue with my user? Try this. I'm gonna log out. Look over here. I'm gonna log again. I had just done this using my Gmail. Computer's really struggling. Okay. Can I create a new project? So why is there no team for me to create a project? Well, maybe I don't need one. So I'm going to call this public version of Pokémon Red or reinforcement. Yeah, I don't have a team to select, and it's not letting me. I have no option to create a team. Okay, so that, and then right, call this buffer lib Pokemon using buffer library for reinforcement of Pokemon Red. Uh, should be fine. This should be buffer Pokemon Red. Save this. Let's try this here. So I was having issues when I was running the shell script as well. But when I ran it this way, we'd actually gotten to the WonDB, which is it's just executing the same thing that's in that shell script. So this will take a few moments. Let's check that while we're going. Okay, we see that one has a Pidgey. If it's changed its leader to that Pidgey, maybe just the Squirtle got knocked out, but working through. We see one that's starting to get up to the million, so we are seeing progress. It's good. Keep this here for a moment. All right, just trying to spin up the instances. Hopefully we get further than last time, because if that's the case, I will bring this down. The new library, like I said, it's more efficient running overall, so it may be possible for me to increase the number of people there. And then, oh, uh-oh. Try to resume run with ID. ID is set. Okay. Wait, I log in, re-log in. The key here. Grab my API key there. Paste that. Try this one more time. Check this. Here for that. Uh, the same thing happened here. Trying to initialize demo.py. We're at line 205, which is right where we are. env name. Let's see. env names a lot of times here. env name. Is that being set? Oh, I want to do that. env equals, or it then gets the ID. Because I'm not giving it any argument after train, encountering the same issue. Let's see. Forbidden URL for GraphQL. Let's follow this and just see. Yeah, I'm gonna get a response forbidden. I guess that's to be expected here. Let's see here. I think that's quite right. So was the last one the KC one, or is that a different one? That was the last one, but I'm trying to set a new run. Let's see. Um, why see. Mode is training. Let's see. This is what they have. This is what they have. That's what I had set for mine. If I go to their demo.py that I forked it from, this, I wonder, is it a different entity in 1DB? I wonder if this is supposed to be now this. Reinforcement learning. If this is the entity, this is the project, and then it will generate the run ID. Let's try that. That's still going. 140,000 steps. Try this one more time. The entity back here. That should be, and I hope that's the solution. Give me some good news. Put the other one off while it's going. So not getting too far away. Exploring the grass a lot. It's gonna. Yes, looks like it's doing. Oh no, no ROM file. All right. So env config. I need to go to here. All right, so we got that fixed. Env config environment.py. What folder was that in? Pokegym. Right here. Environment. We want to go to like line 40 or something. 46. It needs to be in the Pokegym because it's looking for Pokemon underscore red.gb. So this one, name order. I need to copy this. How do I get it there? Because I need to move it to Ubuntu. Hold on. Yes, it's here. Ubuntu home. Yes. Over here. It needs to go in Pokegym, right? Yes. And I drop it. What was the right way to name the file? Pokemon underscore red, all lowers, BB. Drop it. Done. Okay. So I figured it out. Got it. So I didn't find the file. Is it because I'm executing it from the. Where am I executing this from? I'm executing it from for Pokegym, and so it's not in the right folder. Let's try. I moved it up one level in the directory to be the same as Pokegym, instead of being in the Pokegym directory. And so hopefully I can get that going. the meantime, our other one is still running. Yeah, we're there. It's figuring out moving around. Dying a fair amount of times. Everyone's got at least one. There's quite a few with 2, and then one with 4. She's still learning. It seems like we've got the right folder. So it needs to go in the main level directory. Um, to the main directory. We made the git clone. Hey, nice. It's saying 10% of GPU is being used. Will I see it the same way as I do this one? Or will it be something different? Within 0 agent steps, so hopefully we're still getting off and running. The question is, where is this actually running? Keeping your graphs? Okay, don't know what that means. Okay. Hopefully we get off and running. We see 1 now, so. There. Seems like we're still in the setup. Good on the environment. Do this. Sorry. Uh, in by the if you 3 with your light see. I don't see anything yet in terms of running. Will we appear on the map? Nobody knows. First iteration is still running. Most of them have seen, there's like one that's not seen a Pokemon yet, so it hasn't been out of 10. But the others should be. I'm probably choking everything out of the computer, the resources, so hopefully close this one down because I don't need that one. I'm not making any active changes. Still haven't seen anything yet. Here, restart it. I don't see anything on the map at all. That's probably more on my side than the other one. I'm just wondering if they're crapped out on resources. Oh no, someone appeared. Got that. Just doing this for each. Oh no, there we go. 65 months. So it's not showing me that. 400,000 steps. So seems like yes, 141. So, right, because I'm assuming that's across how many agents did I tell it to do? 12 agents, 12 workers. That just may be everything capping out. Okay, so we got it working. It's a few. I think I'm just going to bring this one down. So that flushed that out. Yeah, you're going to lose me for a second or two while that happens. So deactivate, exit. That's fine. I guess the only thing I'm disappointed here by is that I'm not seeing me on the map at all. Hoping that that can update. Wonder if those are my agents or not that I just saw run around the edges. Right. That's running. There. Screen wrapper name should be Joe the AI guy. So it did take a while to get this working. I've been working at this like most of the day to get it running in the background. Completed its next iteration. Seems like, yeah. So now we're massively increasing. Let's go here, stream wrapper. Got wrappers. Stream wrapper. Upload interval is going to be 500 steps out of every 1,000. It will add the Pokemon name and level. There, I just don't see us. It seems like I've got it finally running. I do want to wait for maybe one or two more iterations to see if it's doing what I wanted to do. The SPS now is up to 415. So it's trying to train 10 billion steps across those. Estimate is, I'm going to assume we have 12 agents running. But its estimate is months, 2 months, right? Roughly. Just take 20 into this per day. 2 months for all this to run. Hopefully we can get slightly better performance from this as we go. But it is nice to get this kind of up and off the ground, even if it did take quite a bit. This is overall better performance. I'm assuming this is combining the number of steps taken per agent. I was getting about 2 to 3 steps per second before, and now this is putting it in the range of like 10 steps, 10 to 30 steps per agent. Um, Hopefully this continues, because this would be way better to increase the number of steps that I can get through. What was the other one I had done? Not in Ubuntu, in my old one, old folder. Go here to baselines. So I had one running started at 12:48 this afternoon and ran for almost 4 hours, and it was still it hadn't even completed one iteration. It would take it to about 5 million steps. This has been running for 17 minutes. Got 200,000 steps. I take 262, 100. I'm just going to divide that by 17, divide by 50. Yeah, 200 steps per second. Um, it just seems way better. If we're estimating what, 3 hours, so take what, 180 minutes. We saw when we closed it out, it was at like 150,000, 150 times, I had 18 agents running for that one. Then divide by 180. And let's assuming 3 hours. If it was 4 hours, you're talking, yeah, I got like a 30 to 40% performance boost based on rough calculations for this. We know that first iteration was extremely slow because of having multiple. I had the other one running. You can see here, this pretty much capping out capping out the CPU and GPU on my machine, which is what I wanted to do. So overall, seems like good progress here. I was hoping that we would start appearing on the map. Don't tell me these are me with the wrong stream wrapper names. Do this because I copied it out of his repo. Nothing in stream wrapper, nothing there. Let's see. So we'll go to stream wrapper. Stream wrapper name. Stream wrapper. Here. Okay, these are definitely. They're getting more improvement now too. Oh, we're seeing pretty good progress. I'll take that for today. I think that's pretty good progress overall. If we can keep up 500 steps per second, okay, we just dropped, but that would be quite a bit of a difference than before because I was only getting maybe 200 steps per second from before, which is not really enough productivity there. Like I said, we let it run for 4 hours. The rough estimate on that is somewhere between 150 and about 200 steps per second. So this is almost double that. Quite a big lift. Hopefully we can keep that going. What I'll do now is I will let this shift over to the stream where I am just going to have the map on display. Hopefully that will keep showing the users on the map and keep this going. So for those of you who came today, thanks for watching. I think it was a pretty good progress overall getting this viewed. I am going to continue to write. I was working on a document that had all the progress steps that I needed to get this installed. I am on Windows, so there's an issue with the puffer library that it needs to be able to have access to Unix to run a script. So if you're on a Mac or you're using Linux, you should be fine. It's part of the like when it sets up the containers to run the instance, that it needs those, and that's why I had to go through a bunch of extra steps to do this. So this is actually running through Windows subsystem for Linux, and then the steps to go through that. I'll put those here in the comments for this video, and then I'll update my GitHub repo, which has that as well, adding that into the README file. That way people can hopefully get this set up and running more quickly. So what I'll do is I'll bring the stream offline for a moment or two, and then I'll transition it so that way it's only running the map. So for those of you who are here, thanks for coming, and then I'll hang around once I've got it back up for a little bit to answer any questions that anyone has.